Good afternoon, everyone. People are joining. We'll wait for some time and then we'll start. Till then, I want to ask you to bring pen, paper, notebook, calculator, everything. It should be with you. Till then, other people join. You please bring your notebook, your pen for solving, and a calculator. If you have with you, please bring the calculator too. Or just pen and paper. It is also okay, but bring your pen and paper at least, so that you can solve some examples. If I want to ask you, you can give me the answer. A very good afternoon to you all, and welcome back after a lunch break. And I assume that you all are with pen and paper. That is your notebook and your pen to solve the examples. Yesterday we have seen some derivative formulae. Today we'll start with integration formulae. Eight people are joining. We'll wait for some time and then we'll start. Okay, till then you can see the formulae of integration. So integration dx is x, and as there is integration part, we have to add constant of integration. Second, integration x raised to n dx is x raised to n plus 1 upon n plus 1. Next is integration 1 by x dx, or we can say whatever is the function here, if its derivative is in the numerator, then it is log of the denominator. That is integration dx upon x is log x. Then integration e raised to x is e raised to x. Integration a raised to x is 1 upon ln a, 1 upon log a into a raised to x. Integration of log x is x into log x minus x. Remember, this is we sometimes we need this formula. Integration of log x is x log x minus x. Integration of sin x is minus cos x. Integration, this is exactly opposite to the derivative, as derivative of sin x is cos x and derivative of cos x is minus sin x. But in case of integration, integration of sin x is minus cos x and integration of cos x is plus sin x. Next is integration of tan x, that is minus of log cos x, or you can say log of sec x, either minus log cos x or log of sec x. Then next is integration of cot x, it is log of sin x. Integration of sec x is log of sec x plus tan x. integration of cosec x is minus log of cosec x plus cot x. Next, integration of sec square x is tan x. Integration of sec x tan x is sec x. Exactly opposite as the derivative. As we know, derivative of sec x is sec x tan x. So if we reverse that term, that is integration of sec x tan x is sec x. Next, integration of cosec x cot x is minus of cosec x. Next, integration of dx upon root a square minus x square is sine inverse x upon a. Next is integration dx upon a square plus x square. It is 1 upon a tan inverse x upon a. Next is integration dx upon x into root x square minus a square. It is 1 upon a into sec inverse x upon a. Okay, this is very important part. These are the quadrants: first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant, right? And in first quadrant, we can say all are positive. In second, sine, cos. In first quadrant, all are positive. In second, sine, cosec, tan, cot, and cos, sec, right? And if do you know this geometry or I don't know, but along x-axis, the term sine, the trigonometric term sine will remain sine, cos will remain cos, tan will remain tan, right? But along y-axis, sine will be cos, tan will be cot, and cosec will be sec, or sec will be cosec. Sorry, sine will be cosec. No, sine will be cos, tan will be cot, and cosec will be sec. Remember that. Okay, for example, if you want to find out sine 3 pi by 2, how can you write sine 3 pi by 2, and where it will be sine 3 pi by 2? Or in between something like sine pi by 2 plus pi by 4, that is 4, 10, 5 pi by 2. What is sine 5 pi by 2? Where it will be sine 5 pi by 2? Can you tell me where is sine 5 pi by 2? Sine pi by 2. Can you just tell me the quadrant of sine? Forget 5. Just tell me. Okay, just tell me the quadrant 5 pi by 4. We'll find out the value of sine later. Where is 5 pi by 4? In which quadrant 5 pi by 4 is there? Yes, Aditi. In which quadrant 5 pi by 4 is there? Third quadrant. Very good. 5 pi by 4 is nothing but what? We have to check. Is it pi by 2 plus something, or is it pi plus something, or is it 2 pi minus something? So if we check 5 pi by 4, it is nothing but pi plus pi by 4, right? So pi plus pi by 4, that is pi. This is 0. This is pi by 2. This is pi. This is 3 pi by 2. And this is again 2 pi. Right? So pi, this line is pi. Pi plus pi by 4. Pi plus pi by 4 is 5 pi by 4. So we are here now. Pi plus pi by 4 is somewhere here. Pi by 4. Pi plus pi by 4. That is in quadrant third. And what will be the value of sine pi by 4? 5 pi by 4 then. What will be the sine 5 pi by 4? First of all, as we have pi plus pi by 4, that is we have taken this axis, and along this axis sine is sine and cos is cos. So sine will remain sine. So sine 5 pi by 4, I have written sine pi plus pi by 4, right? And sine pi plus pi by 4, that is, what will be the value then? We have to check in third quadrant. In first quadrant, all are positive. In second, sine and cosec, tan and cos, cos and sec. That is, we are here. Here, only tan and cot are positive, right? So sine, cos are negative in this quadrant. So we are dealing with sine term. We are here. Here sign is negative in third quadrant. So whatever we have, sine pi plus pi by 4, it becomes minus of sine pi by 4. Right? That pi part we'll ignore now. That pi part becomes in this quadrant. So in this quadrant, we have to just check sine of theta, and sine in this quadrant is negative. So it becomes minus of sine pi by 4. And we know sine pi by 4 is 1 by root 2. So its value will be minus 1 by root 2. Right? So can you now tell me tan 5 pi by 4 value? What will be the tan 5 pi by 4? I'm asking you again 5 pi by 4. Tan 5 pi by 4. First of all, 5 pi by 4 is in the third quadrant again, right? That is tan pi plus pi by 4. And tan in this quadrant is positive, right? So it becomes only tan pi by 4. And what is tan pi by 4? Tan pi by 4 is, what is tan pi by 4?
1.
1.
1.
1 here. Very good. The next is 7 pi by 4. Where will be the 7 pi by 4 in your, which quadrant it will be there, 7 pi by 4? Where is 7?
Fourth quadrant.
Yes.
Fourth quadrant.
Fourth quadrant. It is in fourth quadrant. So if I want to ask you now, cos 7 pi by 4, can you tell me the value of cos 7 pi by 4? We can write 2 pi minus pi by 4. Can you check? 7 pi by 4 is similar as
1 by root 2.
Yes. 7 pi by 4 is similar to 2 pi minus pi by 4, right? But we are in fourth quadrant, so we have to ignore that 2 pi part. So it becomes just cos of, but we are along now again along the x-axis, sine cos remains sine cos itself. So it is cos of pi by 4. And we know cos pi by 4. What is cos pi by 4? It is 1 by root 2.
1 upon 2.
Yes, correct. So your correct answer is 1 by root 2. So now can you tell me, let me ask you, what should I ask you is 2 pi by 3. Where is 2 pi by 3? In which quadrant?
Second quadrant. Second.
And how can you write that?
Pi minus pi by 3.
Yes, it is pi minus pi by 3. So you are in second quadrant now, right? And if I want to ask you cos of 3 pi by 2 or 2 pi by 3, what I ask you? 2 pi by 3. Cos of 2 pi by 3.
Also,
What will be the
pi
value?
minus
Cos
term of
of
the
5 by 3.
Minus 1 by 2.
Okay. Now you are
Yes,
have
yes.
written. Yes. What will be the value? You have written pi minus pi by 3, right? So in second quadrant, cos is negative. What will be the value? What will be the value? Cos 2 pi by 3. Please unmute and talk. Please unmute and talk.
Minus half.
Minus half. Are you getting similar, everyone?
Yes, yes.
It is correct. Then secondly, next, if I want to ask you, 5 pi by 6. Where is 5 pi by 6?
Second quadrant.
Okay, second quadrant. How will you write that 5 pi by 6? You have to write something. We can write the answer. So how can you write that? Either pi by 2 plus or pi minus, right? So how can you write pi by 2 plus or pi minus something is equal to 5 pi by 6?
5 minus pi by 6.
Pi minus pi by 6. Okay, it is also correct. Or we can write what? Pi by 2 plus pi by 3. Correct? Pi by 2 plus pi by 3?
Yes.
5 pi by 6. So what will be the value of cos? I forget, sine. What is the value of sine 5 pi by 6?
1/2.
1 by 2. What we are doing here is, if we consider pi by 2 plus pi by 3, right? So we are considering this y-axis. So along y-axis, if I am asking you sine, it will become cos, right? It changes. So sine 5 pi by 6 will be now sine pi by 2 plus pi by 3, and along pi by 2 axis sine becomes cos. So it is cos of pi by 3. What is cos pi by 3? Pi by 3 is what? Pi by 3 is nothing but 60, I think, right? Yes. What is cos 60? 1 by 2. Right? So you are getting the answers. So you should know this very well. If we see this, most of the trigonometry depends on this chart. So you should, otherwise calc is with us. You can easily solve by using calc. Okay, next formula, integration of 0 dx. Integration of 0. And that is 0. But there should be just constant of integration c. Next is integration x raised to alpha is x raised to alpha plus 1 upon alpha plus 1, that plus c, that is constant of integration, so no need to call it. And there should be, alpha should not be equal to minus 1, and if it is equal to minus 1, that is minus 1 plus 1, this will be 0, and that is nothing but infinity. The whole term goes to infinity, so alpha should not be equal to minus 1. Next is integration 1 by x dx, that is log x. Next is integration a raised to x upon ln a. Integration e raised to x is e raised to x. Integration of sin x is minus cos x is sin. Next is integration of sin x square dx. It is nothing but minus of what is that term? Okay, let me check this. Forget this. Next we'll come to this formula, integration 1 upon x square plus 1 dx. It is nothing but tan inverse x. Then integration root 1 minus x square dx is sin inverse x. Arc is for inverse. Then integration of sin hyperbolic x, that is just written sh. Integration of sin hyperbolic is cos hyperbolic, and integration of cos hyperbolic x is sin hyperbolic. So if we can see, integration of sin is minus cos and cos is sin. But in the case of hyperbolic, there is no negative sign in any case. So both are positive. Sin is sin h is cos h, and cos h is sin h. Next is integration of cos hyperbolic square x. 1 upon cos hyperbolic square x is tan hyperbolic x, and 1 upon sin hyperbolic square x is minus cot hyperbolic x. Next, some limit formulae. So limit x tends to a, x raised to n minus a raised to n upon x minus a is nothing but n into a raised to n minus 1. These are some standard. So limit x tends to 0 sin x upon x, or limit x tends to 0 x upon sin x, or limit x tends to 0 sin inverse x upon x, or limit x tends to 0 x upon sin inverse x. All these values are 1. Similarly, limit x tends to 0 sin x upon x is 1, but if we take limit as x tends to infinity, then the limit becomes 0. Remember, limit x tends to 0, 1 plus x raised to n minus 1 upon x is n. Next is limit x tends to 0, e raised to x minus 1 upon x is equal to 1. These are standard limits. Limit x tends to 0, log of 1 plus x upon x to the base e, of course log is 1. Next is limit x tends to 0, a raised to x minus 1 upon x is log a to the base e. Next is limit 1 plus 1 by n bracket raised to n is equal to e, and limit x tends to 0 if we take limit n tends to infinity, and if it is 1 by n here bracket raised to n, then it is e, and if we take limit n tends to 0 and if we change the role, here it is n and here it is 1 by n, then it will be also e. Next is limit x tends to infinity log x upon x is limit x tends to infinity log of integer part of x upon x. Both things are same, it is equal to 0. Next is limit x tends to infinity x raised to n upon e raised to x is 0, where n should be greater than 0. And if limit x tends to infinity e raised to x upon x raised to n, we have changed the role, numerator and denominator, then it is equal to infinity. And limit x tends to infinity x raised to n upon n factorial is 0. Next, limit x tends to 0 tan x upon x is same as tan inverse x upon x, and both the values as x tends to 0 is 1. Limit n tends to infinity 1 plus x, we can write x or mu, whatever. 1 plus mu by n bracket raised to n is e raised to mu, and it is same as limit n tends to infinity 1 plus mu n bracket raised to 1 by n. Next, limit x tends to minus infinity e raised to x is 0, and limit x tends to infinity e raised to minus x is also 0. Next, limit x tends to infinity x raised to n, it is 0 if x lies in minus 1 to 1, is equal to plus minus 1 if mod x is 1, and plus minus infinity if mod x is greater than 1. Or we can write limit n tends to infinity x raised to n is equal to 0 in minus 1 to 1, as I said here. Next is limit x tends to 0 plus positive left hand side limit, right hand side limit. So this is your right hand side limit. Limit x tends to 0 plus of 1 by x is infinity, and limit x tends to 0 minus of 1 by x is minus infinity. So limit x tends to 0, 1 by x, we can say it does not exist, as RHS limit and LHS limit both are different, so we can say limit does not exist. Next is limit x tends to 0, 1 upon x square is infinity, and limit x tends to infinity, 1 by x square is 0. Can you see that? If we put 0 here, it will be 1 by 0, that is infinity. And if we put infinity here, it is 1 by infinity, that is nothing but 0. Next is limit x tends to infinity, x raised to 1 by x is equal to 1. You can check that by taking log. Next is limit x tends to a, mod x is mod a. Limit x tends to infinity, x into sine 1 by x is 1. And limit x tends to 0, sine of 1 by x, it does not exist. Okay, this is our actual syllabus, starts here. The unit 1, the name of this unit is linear differential equations and applications. Okay, in that application part will take later. The first thing is linear differential equation with constant coefficients. Okay, then some part I have to read for you, that is differential equations are widely used in the field of engineering and applied sciences. The mathematical formulation of most of the physical problems are in the forms of differential equations. Use of differential equations is important or is most prominent in subjects like circuit analysis. It mostly deals with ENTC people, that is circuit analysis. Then theory of structures, vibrations, heat transfer, fluid mechanics, etc. Differential equations are of two types. As yesterday I was talking to you. For its value on only one independent variable. But partial differential equation will have more than one independent variables. In what follows, we shall discuss ordinary and partial, which are common occurrence in engineering fields. So we'll see that later. The next thing is second degree polynomial and their factorization. You should know how to factorize the terms. Okay, the first term is, the first polynomial is d square minus 2d minus 3. Now, how do you factorize this? There are so many ways to factorize, right? So the first thing is, can you factorize minus 3 as minus 2 so that such two numbers whose multiplication is minus 3 and whose addition is minus 2. Okay, are there such numbers? We have to check. Minus 3 is nothing but, there is only way we can write minus 3, either 3 into 1 or 1 into 3, right? There are no other integer factorization. So minus 3 we can write as minus 3 plus 1 or 1 minus 3 for multiplication, right? But we have to choose either minus 3 1 or 1 minus 3. So is it minus 3 1 or 1 minus 3? How do you decide that? Is it minus 3 and 1 or 1 and minus 3? From where you will decide? You can decide by seeing your middle term. Your middle term is minus 2. So whatever is the sign of your middle term, you have to give accordingly that sign to the highest number, right? So what I told you is 3 minus 1 and minus 3 1. So what should be the factorization? Or the numbers minus 3 and 1, right? So we can write here d minus 3 and d plus 1. That is we call as factorization, polynomial and the factorization. This is very important, as in the whole unit we need to do the factorization. Got it? One more thing. Secondly, we can see 6 and 5. 6, we know it is 2 into 3. 2 into 3 is 6. And if we can check 2 plus 3, it is 5. Very good. So directly we have got d plus 2 and d plus 3. Right. And there is other way also. We have the roots of quadratic equations. So whenever we have a quadratic equation like d square of the form ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, then we can easily write x is nothing but minus b plus minus root d square minus 4ac upon 2a. Right? So we can check here also. Here for first or for second, take second. Here a is 1, comparing ax square plus bx plus c is 0. So it is ad square plus bd plus c is 0. Right? So a is here 1, b is 5 and c is 6. You will put in the formula minus 5 plus minus root 25 minus 4 into 6 into 1, that is 24. 25 minus 24, that is 1. Root 1, that is 1. So here we are minus 5 plus minus 1 upon 2 into 1, that is upon 2. So minus 5 plus minus 1 upon 2. So minus 5 plus 1 minus 4 by 2 minus 2. So first value we are getting minus 2, and second minus 5 minus 1 minus 6 by 2, that is minus 3. So directly what you are getting here are roots, and these are the factors. As these are factors, factors are equating to 0. So solving them, we'll get d is minus 2 and d is minus 3. That will get directly in this formula. So you can either use this formula also. Now, do you have calculators with you? Are you having calculators right now? So I'll take you one more method how to find the roots. If you are having, just let me know. Do you have calcs right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so I'll let you know. One method we have seen, directly we have factorized, and then we have used the formula, and next is in calculator how to do that. So just open it and go into the mode, press the mode, you'll see the equation. Press that equation, and then you will see the order or degree, something. So order or degree, whatever you got, just press there, and order degree, whatever it is 2. So press 2, right? So if you have pressed 2 there, 2, okay, then it is asking you A, B, and C. So put A is 1, B is 5, and C is 6. A is 1, then press equal. B is 5, then press equal. C is equal to 6, and then press equal. And after, just press equal. Finally, just press equal. So we'll get what? X is equal to minus.
-3 -2.
Very good. We are getting X is minus 3. And again, if we'll press the equal button, we'll get minus 2 also. Right? This is the again second method to solve the roots, to find out the values. And there is one more method, as I know. What is that method? Can anyone share? Directly factorization. Okay. Just checking the last term, middle term, and how to factorize, we know that. Then there is a formula for quadratic equations. We know that formula, we can put and we can solve. Our calculator is there for our help. And there is one more method. Can you just say that method name? This is standard method. Okay, forget it. If this is not a quadratic equation, if this is not of second degree, if it is higher than second degree and we do not have calculator, and this formula is only for the second degree, and if you have cubic or fourth order equation, then how to find out the roots? Yes, Sagar, how to find the roots? What is the method? Yes, yes, Murli Krishna. Please unmute and talk. Please unmute and talk. What is that method? I just want the name of the method. What is the method to find the roots? This is standard method. That's what I'm asking you. I think you have seen in 11th or 12th to find the roots. Okay. Not getting. So let me take the name of the method is synthetic division. Have you heard about synthetic division? What is the synthetic division is? This equation, again the second. What you have to do is a horizontal line, a vertical line, then 1, then next coefficient of the term. First d square is 1, then d is 5, then we are writing 1, 5 and 6, and then by trial and error we have to check for 1. Do you remember that method? The first number we are writing as it is, then this 2 we have to multiply right here, add these 2. That is called synthetic division. Just see this, and within a minute we are going to end. We have very less time with us, so please come back early, as Zoom is going to stop within a minute. So till with what is the synthetic division method? Just see, and we'll be back soon.
मॅडम
Yes. Go.
मॅडम असं शिकवण्यापेक्षा पेन आणि पेपरच्या मदतीने शिकवल्याला जास्त इफेक्टिव्ह वाटतंय.
That you have to take permission from HOD and CC. I'm ready. I don't have any problem.
दुसऱ्या मॅडम शिकवतात ना.
In Zoom. With Zoom.
हा आपला मोबाईलचा फ्रंट कॅमेरा बॅक कॅमेरा चालू ठेवून त्या शिकवतात.
Okay, I haven't did that, but I'll see. Okay, no problem. I'll try that. From next lecture, we'll do that.
थँक्यू.
Okay. Okay, join back faster so that we can start. Okay, chalo, come on. We'll start then. Next thing is, we'll see all the examples. D square plus 2D plus 1. So we can factorize as 1 into as 1 and 1. So D plus 1 into D plus 1. So we can write D plus 1 square. Next is 6 in minus 5. So we can see it is as it is plus and as it is minus. So for this, both is negative, then it is positive, and one sign can be negative. That is D minus 2 into D minus 3. Next is 2 and 1. We can easily see 2 and 1. Next it is D square minus D minus 2. That is minus 2 and plus 1. Next is minus 2 minus 2. Next is this is standard formula also. D square minus A square is D minus A, D plus A. Next is D square plus A square is D plus AI and D minus AI. And this is the formula as we already have discussed. So this D we can find by using the formula also. In this case, just see this. A is 1, B is 1, C is 1. So minus 1 plus minus root 1 minus 4 upon 2. So it is minus 1 by 2 plus minus root 3 by 2 I. Okay, then next is so third degree polynomial and their factorization, as I have discussed with you. If it is third degree, the first thing is, if it is standard formula, a cube minus b cube x, so we can easily write a minus b, a square plus ab plus b square, right? But if it is something like which is directly we cannot factorize or not like a standard formula, here we can see these all are standard. B cube plus a cube, that is d plus a d square minus a d plus a square, right? D cube plus 3d square plus 3d plus 1 is nothing but d plus 1 cube. This is nothing but d minus 1 cube. But something like, if it is the term, this is not standard, d cube minus 7d minus 6. So in this case, we have to use synthetic division method. So what is synthetic division is, whatever is the highest order term d cube here, we have to write its coefficient first, that is 1. So 1 here. Then we have to check the next derivative term which has the order lower than this, that is d square. Is there any d square term? No, right? So we have to write 0 there. Next is after d square it comes to d, its coefficient is -7, so we have to write -7. After d it comes d raised to 0, it is d raised to 1, d raised to 0, that is 1, right? So simple constant, so it is -6, so we have to write -6 here, right? And then by trial and error we have to solve this. What is that? We'll check for 1. What we do here is first term, the first number as it is we have to write down below. Then this number into this number. Now we are trying for -1, okay? So this into this number -1 we have to write down here. Then we have to add these two numbers. We'll get -1. Then that number -1 we have to again multiply with this. So we get 1. We have to add these two again. We get -6. Then that -6 we have to multiply with -1. And then we'll get 6 right down here and add these two. So finally, if we are adding final term and if it is getting 0, nowhere here, it should not be like this. Here you are getting 0 and then you can decide. Where you should get 0 is very last term. In very last term, if your addition becomes 0, then we can say that -1 is the root. As it is cubic equation and as we have find already a root, then we can stop here for synthetic division. And how can you write this? D cube minus 70 minus 6 can be written as d plus 1, d minus of that number. So it is actually -1. Or how are you writing factors is, if we have root, we have to write minus of that root. So d minus of -1, that is d plus 1 into whatever remained here. How to write that? As this is constant, so it is -6. This is coefficient of d, that is -1d, and this is coefficient of d square. So this term can be written as d square minus d minus 6. So this factorization can be written as d plus 1 into d square minus d minus 6. Getting? By synthetic division. It is equal to 0. So d we are getting, this factorization is okay. Now we have to factorize this. So how can you factorize -6 in -1? That is 3 and 2 are fixed. But for 3, we should have to give negative sign, so that -3 into 2 will be -6 and -3 plus 2 will be -1. So it is d minus 3 and d plus 2. And equating it to 0, we are getting d is -1, d is -2 and d is 3. So your roots are -1, -2 and 3. Then next, one more example is here, d cube minus 2d plus 4. So highest order is d cube, its coefficient is 1. Then there is no d square, so it is 0. Then there is d, its coefficient is -2, and then constant, that is 4. And then as it is trial and error method, we have to check for 1 first. We will try for 1. If we'll try, just check this. If we'll write 1 here and we'll solve for 1, this part will not become 0. So we will discard it and we'll try again for -1. So for -1, we are solving, and if it is not 0, then that -1 will also not be the root. Next, try for 2. And 2 will also not give you 0. So 2 is also not the root. And then try for -2. For -2, first number is as it is, then -2 into 1 -2 we'll write here. So -2 here, multiplication of these two, that is 4. So 4 minus 2, it is 2. 2 into minus 2, minus 4, and adding these two, we are getting 0. So this d cube minus 2d plus 4 equal to 0 can be written as d plus 2 into d square minus from this term. From this we are writing d plus 2, and from this we are writing d square minus 2d plus 2 equal to 0. So d is equal to minus 2, equating it to 0, and equating this to 0. Now 2 in minus 2, this 2 in minus 2 we cannot factorize directly. So this is the quadratic equation. We have to use the formula minus b plus minus root b square minus 4ac upon 2a. If we apply this formula, we'll get d is 1 plus minus I. So here alpha is equal to 1 and beta is equal to 1. Here, what is alpha and beta is, this part is of the form, we have to call it, it is of the form alpha plus minus I beta. So alpha is the real part and beta is the imaginary part of this number. So what is the real part of this number is 1. So alpha is 1, and beta, that is with I. So with I there is 1, so beta is also 1. So the roots of these equations are, kindly forget this now, alpha and beta, just concentrate on this. So roots are minus 2 and plus 1 plus minus I. And whenever these roots come, imaginary roots comes, they are always in a conjugate pair, that is plus minus. Actually these are two roots. First is 1 plus I and second is 1 minus I. And very important, one more thing. Whenever we have seen a differential equation of any order, there are that number of roots. Getting what I'm saying? If there is a second order equation or second degree polynomial, that is, if it is d square plus something, then it will have two roots. Getting? If it is the cubic equation, it must have three roots. So can you check here? This is the cubic equation d cube and it has three roots. Right? This is also a cubic equation and these are the roots. So but we will see now, this is minus 2 and this is 1 plus minus I. As we are counting this plus minus together, but actually they are two different, 1 plus I and 1 minus I. So actually here are three different roots. This is called synthetic division method. Okay, if there is a fourth degree polynomial, how to factorize that? If it is standard like d raised to 4 minus a raised to 4, it is of the form a square minus b square. So a square minus b square, we know how to write. So it is a plus b, a minus b. But here a's and b's roles are played by d square and a square. Right? So it is d square minus a square, d square plus a square. Next is, it is again a square minus b square, which is nothing but a minus b, a plus b. So it is d minus a, d plus a. And as it is d square plus a square, what are the roots of these are? If you want to find out the roots, just equate it to 0. So d square plus a square equal to 0. So d square is nothing but minus of a square. So d, taking square root on both sides, we get d is equal to plus minus ai. Right? So plus minus ai are the roots. So we can write d plus ai once and d minus ai once. So forget all of these things, and this is standard. We can consider d raised to 4 minus a raised to 4. The roots are d minus a, d plus a, d plus ai, d minus ai. Next is second type is making a perfect square by introducing some middle terms, right? So if it is d raised to 4 plus a raised to 4, if it is d raised to 4 minus a raised to 4, we can write this. But if it is plus, we do not have a formula like a plus b, a minus b, as we have a square minus b square formula. But a square plus b square formula is not there, right? So d raised to 4 plus a raised to 4, how can you write that? As we know, what we know, d square plus a square bracket square is d raised to 4 plus 2a square d square plus a raised to 4, right? Here it is d square plus d raised to 4 plus a raised to 4. So from this we can write what? D raised to 4 plus A raised to 4 is nothing but, there should be this term 2A square D square, right? And in this term there is this term absent, so we can add and subtract this term, getting to make it a perfect square. So D raised to 4 plus A raised to 4, if it is there, I'll add this term. Why to add this term? Because we know this is some square. So we'll add 2A square D square and we'll subtract 2A square D square. So there will be no problem, right? So from first three terms, we can see easily this is D square plus A square bracket square. And this term we can write it is root 2AD bracket square, right? So it is now becomes A square minus B square form. This is your A and this is your minus B into A plus B. So these are the factorizations. Next is if it is D raised to 4 plus 1, similarly you can see which term we'll need here. So D raised to 4 is, we can see D square square and 1 is 1 square, right? So we'll check for D square plus 1 bracket square. So its square is D raised to 4 plus 2D square plus 1. So which term we need is 2D square. So we'll add 2D square, we'll subtract 2D square, and from the first three terms we can see this is D square plus 1 bracket square, right? Minus this is root 2D square, this whole term. We have to write it as some bracket square. So if we want to write the bracket square 2, we have to write as root 2 square. And B is D square. Okay, now it becomes A square minus B square. So it is A plus B, A minus B. This is the factorization. Next it is standard, that is 16 and 8. So we know 16 is nothing but 4 into 4 and 4 plus 4 is 8. So it is directly we can write D square plus 4. It is in D square. Just remember. So we can write D square plus 4, D square plus 4. Next it is 1 into, we know 1 into 1 and 1 plus 1. So it is D square plus 1, D square plus 1. Right. Next is 9 into 10. So it is 9 into 1, 9 and 9 plus 1, 10. So D square plus 9, D square plus 1. As it is in D square. And next we can solve for that. D square plus 9 equating it to 0, we get D square is minus 9. And taking square root on both sides, as we get D is equal to plus minus 3i. And equating this to 0, we get D square is minus 1. So we get D is plus minus I. So writing this here, we'll get the roots. Next is this term, D raised to 4 minus 2D cube minus 3D square plus 4D plus 4. Here we cannot do anything as many such terms are given. These are not the terms where we can adjust the squares or some formulas, right? So in this case, we have to use synthetic division. So the terms we cannot solve directly, we have to use synthetic divisions. So 1, then minus 2, then minus 3, then 4, and then 4. These terms we have to write, we have to check for 1, minus 1, 2, minus 2 alternately. So for minus 1, they are getting the root. How do we get this? 1 is as it is here, then this multiplication here, addition, minus 3, again multiply here, add 0, again multiply 0, add 4, minus 4 right here, and finally it is 0. Therefore, minus 1 is the root. Then again we have to check for these numbers now. These remain numbers here, 1, minus 3, 0 and 4. For that we have to try again 1, minus 1, 2, minus 2. So 1 will not give you 0. So we'll try for minus 1. First number as it is. Then multiplication here, minus 4. Then 4. And then minus 4, it is 0 here. Right? And whenever there are three numbers, we can stop. These two are minus 1, that is D plus 1, D plus 1. That is D plus 1 square. Into D square minus 4D plus 4. D square minus 4D plus 4, that is 4 in minus 4. We can write 2 and 2. Right? That is minus 2, minus 2. So factors are d minus 2 and d minus 2. So these are the final factors, d plus 1 square and into d minus 2 square. So roots here are minus 1, 2 and 2. Okay, next is
मॅडम
yes. Yes,
दुसरं
sir.
लेक्चर आहे 3 वाजता.
Okay. I'll stop. Okay, you can join for your next lecture. Thank you so much. Tomorrow we'll start with this. Just a minute. I'll take a screenshot and then we'll stop. Okay, please wait.
मॅडम पीपीटी ग्रुपवर शेअर करा.
Okay. Okay, you can leave. Thank you.